Outcasts are
What's
back,
up?
and we're talking about if there are any legitimate long-term or short-term advantages to a raw, vegan, plant-based diet.
Yeah,
I
going
mean,
full raw. What happens?
me personally, I didn't really experience much of a difference, other than being hungry all the time. I did maybe 6 months or so, probably even less than that, on raw foods, mostly juices and smoothies. And I was just eating all the time, all day, all night, except for sleeping, and didn't really have that big of an effect on me, other than, being more expensive because I had to buy a lot of more produce for the juicer. From going that to eating steamed broccoli and rice and potatoes, and wasn't really much of a difference. If anything, I had a bigger benefit from eating the cooked food than the raw food. And even the people that I talk to, they seem to, it's more of a mental thing for them. It's like, oh, I'm eating, this pure food, these oranges and this and that, and, it's so much better than eating, cooked vegetables.
Right.
But, it doesn't seem like they have any sort of objective evidence to back up their claims.
No, I had a
He
similar.
was beginning to levitate more when he went fully raw. Is that right?
Well, that's right, but that hasn't been disclosed yet. So
Yeah, that's the next episode.
yeah, that's a whole different topic. No, I had a similar story to you, Jamie. Well, actually, you did it way longer than I did. You did it for 6 months. I did it for around 1 month, so I can't really talk about long-term results at all. So that's like one little discrepancy about that. I started to eat cooked food. I started to eat more because of that, and I started to have more energy and all that stuff. If I could, I have one benefit in mind of going 100% raw, which I think is good, I guess, is you actually have a set boundary. Like, when people go raw or fruitarian or whatever, they're very strict with it, and that in a sense can be good, and because you're not eating junk food and all that sort of stuff. So you have a really strict program or whatnot to follow. Like, exactly what you're going to eat every day, and I think that can be good in the sense that you're not eating crap like, I don't know, potato chips, or hopefully you're a raw vegan and not just like raw paleo or whatever.
Well, can't you just tell yourself no potato chips? I mean, isn't that just as easy as?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, adding like potatoes back to your diet or rice or whatever, that's still not like unhealthy food by any means. Like, that's awesome. But I don't know. I mean, I just that's just one thought, one quick thought I had about 100% raw. But you can absolutely do it on 100% vegan, I guess, but like with excluding that sort of junk food.
Yeah, to pick up on what you said there, Tino, I agree with that. When you're eating 100% fully raw, let's just back it up a step. I think all of us would agree the best diet is vegan, a whole food, plant-based vegan diet. And when you're doing fully raw, there's really not much processed fully raw food, so it kind of forces you into eating whole foods. Like you said, you're not going to go eat, grab a bag of potato chips or what have you. So I think that's one advantage of going fully raw. If you're coming like I did from more of a junk food vegan diet. It wasn't junk food. I was eating Morningstar Farm burgers, lots of soy and processed non-whole foods. So I think someone coming from a less clean vegan diet could benefit from jumping in, going fully raw for a while to see what it's like to be forced to, I guess, if you need that forcing to eat whole foods. And I was fully raw. Angie and I, we didn't keep a food diary. I think it was anywhere from like at the least 8 or 9 months to maybe 11 or 12 months, and maybe 2 or 3 of those months were more of the high-fat raw, the gourmet raw.
Yeah.
So we probably did the 80-10-10 style raw for maybe, I don't know, 6 to 8 months like that. And it was cool. It was something, it was fun. And if you're interested in it, if you're new to a vegan diet, you want to get on cleaner eating, I say go for it. See what it's all about. But when I started slowly incorporating some, clean starch solution type foods, and I didn't notice any difference. To me, I think it's the same diet, because as long as you're not eating a whole boatload of avocado or durian, you're going to get 80-10-10 either way. It's the same diet, high carb, low fat, plant-based diet. And yeah, there's some advantages, but I think I agree with you too, Jamie. There's some disadvantages, and for me too, being a big guy, and you might not be able to see it on screen here. I'm almost, I'm 6'5", almost, professional basketball size guy, and if I was like, 5'1", it'd be a different story. I would need way fewer calories, but I'm pretty active too, and I was eating all the time too, and that was the biggest thing. Just to feed a guy my size fully raw is an extreme challenge. I was. You spent your whole day either buying food or eating food, and like, when do I get to do my other stuff in life too? So that's why I think, having some, the starch solution type foods, raw tofu, was a great balance for me. I love it. I can live this way the rest of my life.
And I think the biggest irritation for me, though, is when people get confused, reading the different books and, seeing the different videos on YouTube or whatever, and they see that, oh, this person says fully raw, and this person says, to eat some cooked food, and this person says not to eat, this cooked food, and don't put stuff in the oven because then it does it. I feel like in the end, the message that needs to get across is whole foods. Whether it's cooked or raw, in my opinion, in my experience, doesn't matter as much as the whole foods. Is to get rid of the processed meat foods and all the junk and get on a plant-based diet. I mean, that's by far the biggest improvement. And yeah, raw fruits and vegetables are fantastic. But at the same time, we need to be flexible and adaptable in this real world we find ourselves in.
Point, Jamie. I mean, a lot of people say it's so hard to know what to eat when they're new to vegan. I say it's simpler than you think. Whole foods. Eat whole foods. You can't go wrong. There's just no way.
Yeah, and then in that case, then it's not as expensive as you think. When I was doing the juicer and the smoothies, and holy cow, I mean, I was spending all the money I was making landscaping and cutting lawns, and I mean, I was just, all my money was going into that. So when I moved from just that to eating an actual whole foods plant-based diet, it was so much cheaper. I was able to save so much more money. I felt just as good. I was fuller, and I was able to do things and not just spend all my time, like you were saying, Ryan, just either buying food or eating food. I was able to do the things I want and do the sports that I like to do, and it's just so much better. And I feel like the average person, and we have to cater towards the typical family. It's totally doable, and I always say there's really no excuse not to just try it. You don't have to adopt anything. You don't have to say you're I'm vegan now, or I'm vegetarian now, or I'm eating a plant-based diet now. No, you just try something for a week, try something for 2 weeks. If you like it, stick with it. If you don't, then adapt it a little bit. But there's no excuse not to try it. And to say that raw is better than cooked, I think is, from my experience, is the dumbest argument. And the fact that we even have to have a video like this now, I think, is just so silly. The fact that people are still, I just, I ate this cooked broccoli, and we made a video about that, and I just ate this, these steamed potatoes, and I feel so bad, and I'm not pure anymore, is just absolutely counterproductive, and it's not going to get people anywhere. And like I said, for me, it's the diet is not the answer to a fulfilling life. It's the avenue to get you to have the fuel and to the sustenance to make you realize what you want to do in this world. And from then on, it sort of works itself. But the argument raw versus cooked, I think it's just insane at this point.
Yeah, and Tino, you're our scientist of the bunch here in university, and just verify that I got this right. There's no objective studies out there that show that a whole food plant-based diet that's fully raw is in any way, shape, or form better or worse for you than a a steamed or boiled whole food plant-based diet, right?
Not that I know of, at least. And if anyone out there is aware of like raw vegan studies showing that it's better than cooked food, like feel free to leave it down below. But what I have seen is whole food vegan diets, including cooked food, to be better than standard American diets, paleo diets, high meat diets. For sure, I can find you stacks and stacks of that. Dr. McDougall says he can fill up libraries with it. So it's like definitely out there. I think we should definitely start paying attention to the bigger picture if we want to get the world to go vegan, right? If we care about the animals, if we care about the planet, which we talked about in our last video, I think what we need to focus on is what's going to be sustainable for the general population, and that's eating, you know, a variety of foods, right? Like, and you guys talked about this too, finance. Like, it can get expensive eating raw fruits and vegetables all day, especially if you're going for organic and non-GMO. And you know, if you're trying to save money and you're eating just bananas and dates and I don't know, like celery sticks or whatever, and that's your diet, that's not much of a variety, and that's going to get boring really quick. You're most likely going to go back to your old diet, which probably wasn't healthy. And just, you know, by eating a whole food plant-based diet, you can save on money, eat a lot more variety, and not just focus on the food, because I think, Jamie, you were talking about this, it's not the diet, it's the lifestyle after that. It's, you know, being able to do the things you want to do with eating healthfully. So I think, yeah, definitely no studies out there, at least not strong studies, that show that raw vegan diets are better than cooked vegan diets. I say we just all try to get the bigger picture right, and yeah, if our goal is to be vegan and to get the world vegan, I think we need to focus on what's going to be sustainable. So
Absolutely. Sustainable is the big word. Like I said, the way I'm living now, the way I'm eating, I can see myself doing something like this for the rest of my life.
yes.
No problem. In fact, I fear not being able to do this for the rest of my life because it's working so well.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So whole food, plant-based diet for the win, guys.
All right.